Thank you for sharing this message with us today. I love the imagery of, being supported not just by our son, but these other sons. I think this is something that we forget, but we all, feel when we're thinking about beings that come from these places. And you mentioned uh, Sirius and Syrians and Sassani and in the Pleiadian cluster. And I think a lot of us in these spiritual and consciousness communities have these affinities for these different stellar civilizations, our star brothers and sisters. And my query has to do with a point I've been thinking about for some time. I wonder if you could share a little bit of information about at this time. And this is if there's any connections or congruences between members of the Confederation and members of these other, well-known stellar civilizations. We often, when we're speaking with Confederation entities, speak to social memory complexes that are identifying as a single name, where many experiencers and contactees with other stellar civilizations have had more experiences of contact with individuals. Um, and maybe if you could just speak to any connections between these star civilizations and the Confederation, or differences between entities presenting as individuals from collectives and as collectives with single names.
Of course, brother. We are Aethos. And we would say that the Confederation's philosophy carries a vibration of unity throughout the entire creation. Therefore, to be honest, all beings who are of service to others truly and are of a positive polarity, they are also of the Confederation in principle and in action. So, yes, we have many, many brothers and sisters of the Confederation who do not say that they are of the Confederation. Understand that although we interact with your planet in social memory complex form, each of our social memory complexes at certain levels have an ability to individuate. And when we individuate, we may have our personality, we may have our appearance, and it is in that way that we may have more of a one-on-one dialogue. There are certain, we will use this term, soul contracts that many of you have on your planet with certain stellar civilizations. And this would be the reason for a higher occurrence with an individual entity from one of those civilizations. The technicalities become more apparent, however, when an entire branch of that one civilization wishes to communicate en masse with individuals. Any social memory complex may individuate and contact an individual with whom they have incarnational attachments, with who they have set up certain events to be played out in the blueprint of their incarnation. In these situations, an individual of a stellar civilization or of a spiritual nature, we are referring to certain archangels and those of the Fey kingdoms, what you would call this. In these situations, you will have an individual being interacting. We will add that all galactic federations, irrespective of density, do communicate with one another and have a sense of harmony. They respect their ways that they interact with the human collective, but we are all on the same page. May we provide more clarity on this?
No, I think this answers my question. I appreciate the metaphors of the harmony between the unity of purpose of entities, whether or not they are officially quote unquote members of the Confederation. I think that this answers the question, and I hope that's helpful for anyone who might be getting interested into contact with the Confederation, coming from the experience with some of these other stellar beings.
We thank you for your query and the clarity it will give your brothers and sisters. In the end, we are all speaking in labels, but we refer to the one thing: